How's it going?
Good. I mean, the rust, since it's kind of rained in here, is kind of all clumped together, and then like it fuses itself to the floor, so it's a little difficult to get off sometimes, especially in the valleys of the corrugation. It's a little difficult to get out of there, so I may have to pressure wash in here.
So we're almost ready for paint.
As soon as it's all cleaned up.
Alright, you want to read the special book now? Let's read some poetry. It's not important to be rich with things, it's important to be rich with love, which is the only wealth that grows the more you give it away. Good morning! Do you have a good nap? Nothing like pressure washing in the cold.
Feet are cold.
Your feet are soaked.
Foot of my jeans, my hands. I'm almost done though. Time for bed.
I love you. What? You gotta be in front of the camera? You stinker. Man, this place is looking clean.
Yeah, it already looks different. Like just being pressure washed and swept out and cleaned up, it's already taken on a transformation. I just can't imagine once it's got a fresh coat of paint on it, like how sharp it's gonna look.
Right.
The only thing I'm worried about is this primer and...
Oh, what it'll look like.
Yeah. It's one thing if like we had primered the entire thing and that it was like consistent. It was like almost like a texture, but I'm afraid that you're going to see the spots that I did the primer.
I don't think you're gonna notice it.
Well, I sure hope not.
Yeah, so this time we are going to be using a paint sprayer, and the only area that we will be using a small brush for are around all the stickers and just any edges next to the seals and all that. So this should be a very quick process, and I wonder how long it's gonna take. How quickly do you think you're gonna be able to do it?
I would say maybe an hour or two.
Think so?
Yeah, once you get going, it'll cover a lot of ground.
That's exciting to think that this will be done today.
Should be good to go.
Let the transformation begin. Yeah, the drones in the sky.
Learning to live in the flow, learning to enter the phase. Building a life in the know, building a life through the haze. Holding it up for the team.
Yep, ready.
This is my time, I ain't gonna
Are you holding your baby? You're so cute.
But it's
Oh my goodness. Holy smokes, there's a lot of them out there.
All right, well, it's been about a day and a half later, and we came out to film our reaction, and we're not happy what we see. And I'm not talking the color because honestly, I really like the color.
Yeah, at first I thought it was gonna be a little bit too light, but it's definitely grown on me a lot, and I think it'll look really good like once we have the windows installed, the trim, everything.
Yeah, but it also darkened up once it like cured more.
Yeah, I really like it now.
But we have an issue. We got a ton of rain over the last day and a half, and I finished up probably around 5 o'clock, and later sometime over that night it started to rain, and not only just rain, like heavy rains, and that has caused some issues. So what happened is this paint over all the areas that we use the primer, it bubbled. But I think the reason why is because it didn't have quite enough time to cure to that surface, because a lot of the areas where it is primered, it still is fine. It's only certain spots. So I think it was a heavier coat in those areas, and it just didn't bond as quickly to the primer itself. So that caused water to bubble up behind it, I guess. I've never seen that before, but
yeah, he literally went and poked one of the bubbles and water came pouring out.
why did you talk so softly?
I don't know.
So this is one of the worst areas. Oh my god, that wind. A cold front came through too. So yeah, this is one of the worst areas. At first, I thought this was just water sitting on the surface. No, it's behind the surface, behind the paint. Look at that. Water got trapped behind. So that means I have to come back through and pressure wash all the spots that did this.
So you think that just pressure washing it and then hitting it again with paint when it is all dried out and it's sunny and we have no rain, that is going to fix this? Because I feel like if you do that, it's just gonna all start peeling up.
No, because I've already rubbed a lot of the areas, and it says this paint you can use it on steel. That was one of my main concerns, but.
All right, so you're telling me with these temperatures right now that you're gonna start pressure washing.
I mean, we have sun for the next 2 days, and what I would like to do is start now, hopefully finish tonight, if not finish early tomorrow, and then dry it out and hopefully start painting tomorrow. That way I have a whole nother day of full sun before the rain starts again, because we have like 5 days of rain coming after this.
Oh my god. This is like the worst timing ever. I don't know. I'm hoping you're right, but I'm really scared that it's not going to be as simple as just pressure washing those spots.
Yeah, I mean, and also have to deal with paint chips. Like, there's going to be so many paint chips now.
At least they're going to be green. Yeah, it's gonna all come off, isn't it? Any spot that you pressure wash. So what does this mean? You're gonna have to sand it. So what now?
Start over.
What a setback.
I don't even know what to do. Do I sand it and hope that that'll take off what I needed to take off and not anything more? Otherwise, I probably have to strip the paint.
Well, I would try everything you can before you get to that point. All right, so how does sanding it do?
I don't really know. It sands it down and makes it not chip, but
Well, that's good.
am I going to palm sand the entire container?
I mean, what other choice do you have?
You know how long that's going to take?
I can't even imagine.
After doing some research and trying to figure out why this happened, we came to a couple of conclusions. Firstly, we did use the right paint and primer. Originally, we had thought maybe we just used the wrong products. However, this was not the case. We used a water-based paint over an oil-based primer, which you are able to do, and that's what we used on our house. With that being said, the only conclusion we could come up with as to why this happened was because the paint just didn't have enough time to cure before the rain came. Of course, we checked the weather before we painted, but you know how weather forecasts go. They never seem to be right. So, what can you do? It's time to fix it and move on.
I love you, Bo. Be good for mama. Oh my gosh. And wake up your brother. Oh, my boy. Oh, yeah.
Alright, I see you there, feeling good, looking fine. Keep going and keep it loose. I do me, you do you. Let's move. Let's move. Let's move.
All right, so I'd figure I'd give a little bit of insight from what I've learned. Rule number one, don't paint a container with acrylic enamel paint if it's going to rain within the next 24 to 48 hours. You want at least that time to dry. But if you do run into bubbling or blistering, whatever you want to call it, scraper, lightly run along where those blisters are. You don't want to really apply any pressure because then you can just continuously scrape up what is actually good. And ideally you would have a rounded edge as far as the scraper goes, but this is what I got. So yeah, I'm gonna go through and scrape this entire container, go through and sand the edges, and then once all of that's done, kind of clean everything off, and then reapply a primer, and then I can reapply paint. Only if there's no rain forecasted within the next 24 to 48 hours. Ideally more than 48 hours, but lesson learned.
How's it going up there?
The most miserable experience I've ever had.
Really?
Yeah, at least when it comes to building. I don't know. It's not fun. The walls weren't actually that bad. Up here, like every bracket, every single one is just flaking off.
What is she doing? Is she supposed to be doing that? Tell her. He's so cute.
All right, just a quick little update. I'm kind of running against the clock. Over the next several days, I would say 5 to 7 days, it shows high chances of rain. So what I would like to do is get this primer on here. And I know I potentially am running into the same issue that I had before. I'll paint and then rain. I don't think that'll be the case with this primer, just because it's supposed to stick to most surfaces. It dries a little bit quicker, and yeah, I just don't think I'll run into that case. It doesn't create quite a coat, and also I'm going to be brushing it on. So let me go ahead and start priming this. Any of the bubbles have been peeled up and sanded down, at least on the siding. On the top, I'm not really too concerned about if there is a little bit of a texture. So yeah, let me just go ahead and start priming.
Man, it's weird seeing white primer. Are you almost done?
No,
Really?
I still got this whole side to do.
Oh goodness.
It's going pretty quick, but just a lot to hit.
easy to hold. That's what she said.
You know one thing you always say?
What?
You primered.
Oh my god.
You primed.
What is it I said the other day that I forget?
I don't know. It happens a lot. Stuff
Might
like
happen
that.
a lot.
Really? I'm trying to get the nature sounds. The wild man in his environment and the sounds he produces. His natural bodily functions.